welcome to Ripperly. You know how this works. You give us the sources, the news, the rumors, and we dive deep to pull out the key stuff.
That's the plan.
And today, we're digging into the world of pro wrestling. Lots happening, it seems, mostly around WWE, but touching on other bits too.
Yeah, the sources cover quite a range. Signings, injuries, even movie roles.
Exactly. And some planned feuds getting rekindled. So this is basically your quick guide to, what everyone's talking about in wrestling right now.
Sounds good.
We're going to hit on NXT Europe's development, Roman Reigns potentially landing a role in a Street Fighter movie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, really. And the return of a pretty classic rivalry.
Okay, lots to unpack. Where should we start?
Let's kick off with NXT Europe. What's the scoop there?
Well, the big thing is WWE seems to be actively signing European talent again. It really points towards that NXT Europe launch finally happening.
Uh-huh. Any specific names?
Yeah, reports mention Mike Doku and A.B. Lore, apparently WXW stars. They're supposedly already training in the U.S., started back in September.
Okay, so they're serious.
Seems like it. And they're reportedly talking to Sasoja, too, and having early chats with Golden Boy Santos, so he's injured right now.
So, gathering the roster. And PW Insider connects this directly to NXT Europe launching later this year.
That's what the report says, yeah. It lines up, doesn't it? Building the talent base before flipping the switch.
Makes total sense. I mean, Europe's got a massive fan base, and a dedicated NXT there could be huge for finding, local talent.
Definitely. It could be a proper feeder system, maybe even influencing the styles we see on the main roster down the line. More global feel, perhaps.
Could be. Okay, shifting gears a bit. Some less positive news regarding Zoe Stark. An injury.
Yeah, unfortunately. Happened during Raw, looked like her knee. WrestleVotes is reporting she needs surgery.
Oh, that's rough. So she'll be out for a while then?
Seems like it, yeah. A longer absence. And it apparently caused some last-minute scrambling with the script for that show.
Right. You see that happen sometimes.
Yeah.
What was the original plan, according to the reports?
Well, the idea was supposedly to protect Kairi Sane in her comeback match. Avoid having her pin clean right away. Standard stuff for a returning star.
Makes sense. Rebuild momentum.
Exactly. But Stark's injury kind of forced their hand. So the whole mini program with Sane and Ripley, that was apparently thought up on the fly.
Wow. Live TV, huh?
Yeah.
And the rumor now is a rematch soon where Sane gets the win back.
That's the word on the street, yeah. A quick way to sort of reset things after the unexpected injury.
It shows how quickly things can change. But, what about Zoe Stark? An injury like this, it can really stall momentum, can't it?
It absolutely can. Timing is, well, everything in this business. It's a setback, no doubt. But it also gives them a comeback story to tell when she's healthy.
True. How they handle her return will be key.
Mm.
Okay. Now for the really wild rumor. Roman Reigns, Street Fighter.
Yeah, this one came from Deadline.com. Legendary Pictures, the ones making the live-action Street Fighter movie, are reportedly looking at Roman Reigns for a lead role.
A lead role. Wow. Any idea of his character?
The rumor is Akuma, which is, that's a pretty iconic, powerful character in the Street Fighter universe.
Akuma.
Okay.
And Jason Momoa is supposedly involved too?
Also mentioned in the report, yeah. Add some serious Hollywood weight to it.
Definitely. But, do we know anything about the plot? Or when they'd even film it?
No, those details are still unknown. Plot specifics, filming start date, all up in the air.
Right. But the big takeaway for wrestling fans, I guess, is if he does take this role, he's going to be gone from WWE for a while, right?
Yeah.
A significant chunk of time.
Almost certainly. A major movie role like that requires a huge time commitment. You can't really juggle that with a full-time WWE schedule, especially as the top guy.
So what does that do to the main event scene? He's been the guy for so long.
That's the massive question, isn't it? His absence would leave a tribal chief-size hole at the top. It forces a big shuffle, creates huge opportunities for others to step up.
Yeah, gotta wonder who gets that chance. Okay, speaking of established stars potentially getting a renewed focus, Rusev and Sheamus.
Ah, yes. Reports from PW Insider and WrestlingNews.co say WWE is working on putting them back together for a feud.
Why now? They have history, obviously, but why revisit it?
The thinking inside WWE, apparently, is that their shared past, the U.S. title feud back in 2014, the League of Nations stuff, gives them an instant story.
Right, people remember that.
Exactly. Plus, their ring styles are pretty different, but they mesh well. They think it'll get fans invested again. And they expect it to be, good matches.
And what's the reported goal here? Who's supposed to come out on top?
The word is Rusev is expected to win the feud. The plan is supposedly to use it to sort of reestablish him as a top-level guy again.
Okay, so a deliberate push for Rusev using a familiar rivalry. You think they'll directly reference the old stuff? The U.S. title, League of Nations.
Oh, almost certainly. They'll likely play up the history, maybe show some old clips, reference their time together. It adds layers to the feud, you know? Mixes nostalgia with something new.
Makes sense. Okay, another top star, Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
He's going to be off TV for a bit.
Yeah, PW Insider reported that. After his loss to Damian Priest at Saturday night's main event, he's expected to be off WWE programming for the foreseeable future.
Okay, is this an injury thing too, or?
It sounds like it's related to injuries, yeah. The report says he's been wrestling through some stuff for months, requested the time off, and the company granted it.
Ah, okay. So it's a necessary break for him to heal up.
Exactly. Sounds like he needs several months to recover properly. Wrestling injured takes a huge toll.
For sure. Good for him getting the time, but again, another big name off the board for a while. That impacts things, doesn't it? Especially heading into the summer.
Absolutely. McIntyre's a main event fixture. His absence definitely requires creative adjustments, maybe pushes someone else up the card faster, opens a spot. We'll have to see how they fill that gap.
Always moving parts. Now, some definitely positive news. Evolution 2, it's happening.
Yes. WWE confirmed it. All-women's event, July 13th, down in Atlanta.
That's fantastic news.
Yeah.
Really great to see it back.
Totally agree. It's a big statement, shows continued commitment to the women's division. And holding it the night after Saturday night's main event in the same arena makes it a huge weekend.
Yeah, stacking the weekend. What are you hoping to see on that show? Any dream matches?
Oh, man, where to start? You hope for big title matches, maybe some cross-generational stuff, legends involved. The first one set a high bar.
It really did. The anticipation is going to be high for this one. Okay, speaking of big events, AAA and NXT Worlds collide. There was talk about Alberto del Rio. What's the latest?
Yeah, despite some earlier buzz, multiple outlets are now saying Del Rio is not expected to be part of that show.
Okay. Did WWE put out anything official?
Well, they released a poster for Worlds Collide featuring a bunch of AAA stars, and Del Rio isn't on it. That usually tells you what you need to know.
Pretty strong indicator, yeah. So no Del Rio, but the show's still happening with other cross-promotional matches.
Looks like it. El Hijo del Vikingo is still advertised against ChatGB, for example. So it's still a cool concept, seeing NXT guys versus AAA guys, even without Del Rio.
Yeah, those crossover shows are always interesting, seeing different styles clash.
Definitely adds a unique flavor.
All right, one last piece of news. Maria Kanellis, she might be open to a WWE return.
Yeah, she did an interview with Andrew Thompson at Fightful. Said she's open to the idea.
Interesting. What else did she say?
Well, she mentioned her sort of dream scenario is being at WrestleMania, accompanying her husband Mike Bennett and Matt Taven.
Ah, the Kingdom at Mania.
Right. And she also mentioned she keeps in touch with people in WWE and hears good things about the backstage environment now under Triple H.
That backstage atmosphere comment is interesting.
Yeah.
That can definitely influence someone's decision to return, can it?
For sure. Feeling like it's a positive place to work makes a big difference. So maybe not just a pipe dream for her.
Could be. Okay, wow. Let's try and wrap our heads around all that. A quick recap for everyone listening to Ripperly.
Sure. We hit on NXT Europe, gearing up. Looks like WWE's signing talent for a launch later this year.
Right. Then Zoe Stark's knee injury, needing surgery, causing those Raw script changes.
Then the huge Roman Reigns rumor, potentially starring as Akuma in a Street Fighter movie, which would mean a long WWE absence.
Followed by the planned Rusev versus Sheamus feud, looking to elevate Rusev by revisiting their history.
Drew McIntyre taking several months off to heal from injuries.
But on the bright side, WWE Evolution 2 confirmed for July 13th in Atlanta.
Alberto Del Rio likely not doing the triple NXT Worlds Collide show, though other crossovers are still planned.
And finally, Maria Kanellis expressing openness to a WWE return, citing a positive backstage vibe.
Phew. Yeah, that covers it.
It's a lot, and when you lay it all out like that.
Yeah, what really stands out is just how much is always going on behind the curtain in wrestling, isn't it? Talent moves, injuries happen, Hollywood comes calling, creative plans shift constantly.
Totally. It's all interconnected. An injury impacts a storyline, a movie role opens up spots, new signings build a future brand.
Exactly. And all these different threads, NXT Europe, Reigns' potential absence, McIntyre's recovery, feuds starting, Evolution returning, they're all going to weave together somehow and, shape what WWE and maybe even the wider wrestling world looks like in the coming months.
That's a great way to put it. It really makes you think about how these pieces might fit together down the road, what domino falls next.
Always someone to keep an eye on.
Absolutely. Well, that's our deep dive for this edition of Ripperly. Thanks for tuning in while we sorted through the latest scoops.
Yeah, always fun to break it down.
Remember to check back with Ripperly for more analysis. And hey, if you enjoyed it, please do like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment letting us know what you think.
Until next time.
This has been Ripperly. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.